Hey everyone, so today I'm going to talk about calories. First, you need to stop counting calories. You're wasting your time. We actually didn't start counting calories until like the 50s and 60s. So before then, what were we doing? Oh, that's right, we were eating healthy foods. We didn't have all the processed garbage like we do now back then. Calories actually don't exist. They're not even a real thing. And there's no actual way to measure how our human bodies actually process quote unquote calories. They actually use a machine that they put the food in that they use to burn the food, and that's where they come up with the calories of that particular food. But when they find those calories for those particular foods, it's actually an estimate because every food is going to be different. For instance, if you take an apple, a fresh apple compared to an apple that's been sitting on the counter for 4 or 5 days is actually going to be different calories than the fresh apple. So take that into consideration as well. And the amount of calories that you actually need to intake every day is different. It just depends on if you're going to be sitting around all day or if you're going to be busy one day. So it all just depends on what you're doing, is how much food you actually need to be eating. And the easiest way to avoid the dreaded calorie count is just to eat a proper human diet. So eating keto, carnivore, or even ketovore if you want to add some vegetables in there. And trust me, I know firsthand how hard counting calories can be for a diet. I've done anywhere from counting my daily macros, making sure I have the right amount of protein intake, the right amount of carb intake, the right amount of fat intake. It's hard. I had to meal prep. I had to weigh all my food every day. So if we were taking a family trip when I was doing this, I had to get all my food together. So that way when I was on the family trip, I was eating the food that I brought because I knew how much it weighed, how much protein was in it, how many carbs were in it, how many fats were in it. And I didn't get to really enjoy the road trip because I was too focused on trying to stay at a healthy weight by calorie counting and macro counting. Another thing that I did before I started carnivore is I actually did a diet plan where you eat 6 times a day, and 5 of those meals were from the company that, so they provide you those 5 meals a day basically. And they range from different things. So you eat every 2 to 3 hours. But your 1 meal a day that you're supposed to prep is your main meal, and you had to make sure if you ate a certain type of protein, you had to weigh that protein, and depending on how lean it was, you could add a fat, or you couldn't add a fat if you had a more fattier cut of meat. And then you could only have like a certain types of vegetables, and you had to weigh those certain types of vegetables because you can only have so much of those vegetables. And you could only have, if you decided you wanted to have creamer in your coffee, that counted towards that meal. So say I wanted to have mayonnaise, I couldn't only have like half a serving of mayonnaise because I put cream in my coffee in the morning. So it was very tedious. I had all this printed out in a little book, so every time I made my meal every night, because I did my dinner as that meal, I had to literally pull this book out every single night just to make sure what I could eat for the day. And it was very tedious, and I don't know how much longer I actually would have stayed on program with it, because for me, I have a busy life, especially in the summertime. I love being outside. We love going camping. I just don't have time to eat 6 times a day and make sure like I am portion controlling. Like, I mean, for this program that I was doing, I had to set an alarm on my phone every 3 hours just to remind myself to eat, because I was like, oh, I'm out mowing the yard. Oh crap, I gotta stop mowing my yard because I need to go eat my meal. Like, it was just too inconvenient for me and too much fuss, because once I got off the program, you transition off the program, but you have to keep in mind, you can only, you have to serve it. You have to portion control all those 6 meals and have those prepped. Well, if you're a busy mom or a busy dad and you're on this diet program and your kids are in soccer, baseball, football, whatever have you, that's a lot to deal with when you are on the run all the time. Like, you have to constantly just remind yourself to make sure you have all the snacks you need just to eat, like, and every 2 to 3 hours. Like, I started clicking in my head like 2 weeks into the program. I was like, oh man, this is actually gonna be kind of harder to keep up with. But Some people succeed on the program by constantly eating. I don't know. Since the carnivore diet, I don't ever plan on going back to another diet again in my life. This is by far the easiest thing I've done. I literally just, like today, I took a pound of ground beef with some sour cream in it and I ate all of it and I was full. Super easy, and I won't eat again. And if I do, I have some hard-boiled eggs. I might have some of those tonight. But that's it. Like, I literally eat until I am comfortably stuffed. That's it. That's all I have to do. It's crazy. I don't have to count calories. There are some people that will count macros to make sure they are getting enough protein and enough fat on the carnivore diet. But for me, I didn't have to do that, so I'm not worried about counting my macros or anything like that. I literally just eat fatty cuts of meat. I add some butter in there, like when I'm making my eggs, I add some butter in there to make sure I get some of that healthy fat with my eggs. Especially if I eat turkey bacon and eggs, I try making sure I always have butter with it so I can get that fat, because turkey is very lean meat. So for me, this is so simple that you don't have to waste your time counting calories or portion controlling or making sure you have all your meals for the day. I literally pack one thing for work, because that's usually when I eat, is at work around lunchtime. That's it. That's all I do. I get up in the morning, make my lunch, and I take it to work. I don't have to worry about, okay, I need to eat breakfast. Okay, now I need to make sure I have a snack. Now I need to make sure I have my lunch. Now I need to make sure I have another snack. Now I need to make sure, okay, because my job can be sometimes busy after I get off, I might have to stay late. Well, I might miss that meal and, you know, on that type of program, and now I'm SOL because I'm not eating on time and I'm messing up my insulin, you know. Calorie counting is literally a waste of time. You're wasting your time, and a lot of people fall off the diet wagon because they just can't continue to count calories because they have better things to do in their lives besides count these calories. I have better things to do in my life than eat 6 times a day. All you literally need to do is eat meat, eggs, dairy, and butter, and you can lose weight. And you don't have to count calories. You eat until you are comfortably stuffed. And you don't starve yourself, and we're not portion controlling. So, stop counting calories. All you need to do is eat a proper human diet. Either keto, ketovore, or carnivore. Make sure you're eating meat, eggs, dairy, and butter, and add some of those lower glycemic vegetables in if you like. You need to stay away from the processed foods that cause our insulin and hormones to spike, which cause us to gain weight. And as always, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.